There are moments in life that break you in two. Moments where you think you know someone, and in a second that person becomes a stranger. I lived that moment on a Tuesday afternoon in the living room of a house that was not mine, holding a cardboard box in my hands. My son. My own son looked at me as if I were a burden. My name is Evelyn, and I am 59 years old. This is the story I kept silent for a long time because sometimes the greatest pain is not what is done to you, but discovering who does it. For 32 years, I built a textile company from scratch. I started with an old sewing machine in my garage. I worked double shifts, endless early mornings, meetings with clients who treated me as if I understood nothing. But I knew. I knew about fabrics, about seams, about numbers, and above all, I knew about sacrifice. My husband died when Ethan was 12 years old. A massive heart attack on a Sunday morning. From that day on, everything fell on my shoulders. The company. The house. My son's education. Ethan was a quiet, sensitive boy. He liked to draw. He spent hours in his room creating characters and imaginary worlds. I dreamed that one day he would take over the company, but I never pressured him. I just wanted him to be happy. I sent him to the best private university in the country. I paid every tuition bill without complaining. When he graduated, he met Vanessa, a tall woman with straight, perfect hair and a smile that never reached her eyes. The first time I saw her, I felt something strange, like a chill. But Ethan was in love, and I wanted to see him happy. They got married 2 years later. A big, elegant wedding. I paid for almost everything. Vanessa chose every detail. The flowers, the dress, the menu. Ethan just nodded. The first few years were quiet. They lived in a small apartment downtown. I kept working. The company was growing. Everything seemed to be in order until one day things began to change. It was subtle at first. A call from Vanessa asking about my will. A hint from Ethan about when I was going to retire. Small seeds of anxiety planted with care. But I kept going. I trusted my son. And then the crisis hit. A series of bad investments. A dishonest partner who disappeared with $500,000. Debts that accumulated like waves in a storm. In 6 months, my company went bankrupt. I lost everything. The factory, my savings, the house I had bought with so much effort. One afternoon, Ethan called me. His voice sounded firm, almost professional. "Mom, Vanessa and I talked. You can come live with us. Now we have a bigger house in the suburbs." I felt immense relief. My son was reaching out to me. In the darkest moment of my life, he was there. "Thank you, my love. Thank you. You do not know what this means to me. It is temporary, right, Mom? Until you get back on your feet." Of course. I just need some time." I packed my things in 3 suitcases. Clothes, some photographs. A gold ring that had belonged to my mother. It was the only thing of value I had left. The first day at his house was strange. Vanessa welcomed me at the door with a polite, cold smile. "Evelyn, good thing you arrived. Come, I will show you your room." She took me to a small room on the ground floor next to the kitchen. No windows, with a twin bed and a tiny closet. "You will be comfortable here. It is close to everything." I nodded. I was not going to complain. It was their house. That night we had dinner together. Vanessa made pasta. Ethan talked about work. I listened in silence. After dinner, I got up to wash the dishes. "No, Evelyn. Leave it. Tomorrow we will talk about how to organize ourselves." I went to my room. I sat on the bed, and for the first time in months, I cried in silence. The next morning, someone knocked on my door. It was Vanessa. She was carrying a cardboard box in her hands. "Evelyn, I need to talk to you." I opened the door. She entered without waiting for an invitation. "Look, Ethan and I have talked. This cannot be a hotel. If you are going to live here, you have to contribute." "Of course. I understand. I am looking for a job. As soon as—" "No, I do not mean money. I mean helping around the house." She put the box on the bed. "Open it." My hands were trembling. I lifted the lid. Inside, there was a uniform, black, with a white apron, A maid's uniform. I froze, staring at that fabric, staring at Vanessa. She smiled, a small, controlled smile. Wear this. Sometimes we trust too much in those we should not. Right. Have you also been disappointed by someone you loved? Tell me your story in the comments. I want to read it. I could not speak. The words got stuck in my throat as if someone had squeezed my neck. Vanessa was still there, standing perfectly groomed, looking at me with that expression I had seen before on her face, but had never wanted to recognize. It was contempt, pure and simple. I do not understand, I finally whispered. She sighed as if I were a slow child who does not understand instructions. It is very simple, Evelyn. This house does not clean itself. I work. Ethan works. And you? Well, you are here doing nothing. But I can help in other ways. I can cook. You can use the uniform, or you can look for another place to stay. She closed the box. She pushed it toward me. Think about it. But think fast. She left the room, closed the door behind her. I was left alone with that box, with that black uniform that smelled of new plastic. And then the memories began to arrive like waves, like a river overflowing. I remembered when Ethan was little, 4 years old, maybe 5. We had so little money back then. My husband worked from sunrise to sunset, but it was never enough. I sewed from home. Alterations, hems, sweet 16 dresses for the neighbors. One afternoon, Ethan ran into my workshop. He had a drawing in his hands. A drawing of me sitting in front of my sewing machine with a blue dress that was actually gray, but he had painted it blue because he said blue was my color. Mommy, you are the prettiest mom in the world. He hugged me with that strength that children hug with when they still do not know how to lie with their bodies. Do you know what I am going to do when I grow up? He asked me. What, my love, I am going to be rich, and I am going to buy you a huge house with a garden, and you will never have to work so hard again. I stroked his hair. I cried without him seeing me. I do not need a huge house, my darling. I just need you to be happy. And well, that you be a good man, that boy who promised to take care of me. Where was he now? I remembered when my husband died. The funeral. Ethan crying silently next to me. Barely 12 years old, in a suit that was too big for him, squeezing my hand. Mom, I will take care of you. I promise. And I believed him. I worked double, triple. I accepted jobs that humiliated me, clients who treated me as if I knew nothing, sleepless nights, days without eating well, all so he could study, so he could have a better future than mine. When I opened my first small factory, Ethan was 17. He came with me on opening day. It was just him, me and Mr. Ramiro, my first employee. Someday this is going to be yours, Ethan. Everything I am building is for you. He smiled. He hugged me. Thanks, Mom, for everything. When did it change? At what moment did he stop being that boy who drew me in blue dresses and became a man who could look at me with indifference? I tried to remember, to find the exact moment. Maybe it was when he met Vanessa. She came from a wealthy family, divorced parents, a mother who lived in Florida with her third husband. Vanessa spoke with that tone people have who have never had to worry about money, as if the world owed them something. The first time she came to my house, she looked at everything with that polite smile that does not hide judgment. The old furniture, the faded curtains, the small kitchen where I had prepared food for 100 family events. How cozy, she said. Ethan apologized as if he had to say sorry for the house where he grew up. After that visit, he began to change subtly. He stopped coming so often. When he came, he stayed for a short time. He always had an excuse, a meeting, a commitment, a dinner with Vanessa's parents. Mom, you have to understand. Vanessa and I have a social life. I cannot cancel everything to come to eat every Sunday. I am not asking you to cancel anything, my love. I just miss seeing you. I am not a child anymore, Mom. Those words, how they hurt. But I let him go, because that is what mothers are supposed to do, right? Let go of children. Allow them to build their own lives. I never imagined that letting him go would mean being left completely alone. I remembered his wedding. Me sitting in the front row in a dress I had specially made. Wine color, elegant. I had my hair done in a salon. I wanted to look good. I wanted Ethan to be proud of me. During the ceremony, I saw him looking at her, at Vanessa, with that absolute adoration, as if she were the only person in the world. And I felt something small and dark in my chest. It was not envy, it was fear. Fear that I was no longer enough. At the reception, Vanessa introduced me to her friends. "This is Evelyn, Ethan's mom. She has a textile factory." "How interesting," one of them said, without the slightest interest in her voice. Later, during the dance, Ethan took me out to dance. It was tradition, the mother-son dance. "You look beautiful, Mom." "Thank you, my love. You look very handsome, too." We danced in silence for a few seconds. He looked toward where Vanessa was. I looked at his face, looking for my son. "Are you happy, Ethan?" "Very much, Mom. Very happy." "That is the only thing that matters to me." I lied. It also mattered to me that he remained the boy who loved me, but I did not tell him that. The first years of his marriage were quiet. I kept working. The company was doing well. We were not millionaires, but we were stable. Ethan worked at a graphic design firm, Vanessa at an expensive clothing boutique. I invited them to dinner every 2 weeks. Sometimes they came, sometimes not. When they came, Vanessa always found something to criticize. The food was too salty, or too simple, or too spicy. It was never right. "It is just that, Evelyn, we are used to eating lighter. Have you thought about taking a healthy cooking course?" Ethan said nothing. He just ate in silence. I smiled, nodded, and kept my words to myself, because that is what women of my generation do, right? We swallow the humiliation and smile, because we do not want to cause problems. I remembered the last Christmas before the bankruptcy. I had prepared a big dinner. I had invited Ethan and Vanessa, my sister, some cousins. Vanessa arrived late in a very expensive dress and sky-high heels. "Oh, Evelyn, excuse me. We had a dinner with Ethan's partners, but we said no, we have to stop by even for a while with the family. Even for a while, as if being with me was an obligation, a transaction." During dinner, Vanessa talked about her plans. They wanted to buy a bigger house in the suburbs. "Sure, we still do not have the full down payment, but soon." She looked at Ethan. He looked at his plate. Later, when everyone left, I found an envelope on the dining table. Inside was a note from Ethan. "Mom, I need to ask you a favor. Could you lend me $5,000? It is for the down payment on the house. I promise I will pay you back in 6 months. $5,000. I had them. They were my emergency savings, but I had them. The next morning, I transferred the money. He never paid me back. He never mentioned it again, and I never claimed it. Because that is how mothers are. We give, and we do not ask for a receipt. Now, sitting in that small room with that box on the bed, I understood something. I understood that I had allowed all of this. I had allowed Vanessa to speak to me with contempt. I had allowed Ethan to abandon me emotionally. I had allowed them to treat me as if I did not matter because I was afraid. Afraid of losing my son. Afraid of being left completely alone. But now what else could I lose? I opened the box again. I took out the uniform. I spread it on the bed. Black. Starched. With a white apron that had lace on the edges. A uniform. For the woman who had built a company from scratch. For the woman who had raised a son alone. For the woman who had worked until her fingers bled on that old sewing machine. A maid's uniform. I touched the gold ring I wore on my finger. My mother's ring. It was the only thing I had left of her. The only thing of value I had managed to save from the bankruptcy. My mother had been a domestic worker all her life. She worked in big houses, in houses where they treated her well, and in houses where they treated her as if she were invisible. She never complained. She worked until the last day of her life. She gave me everything she could, education, values, and this ring. Daughter, this ring is yours. But promise me something. Promise me that you are going to have a different life, that you are going to study, that you are going to be someone. I did it, Mom. I was someone, and now I am here. I put the uniform back in the box. I pushed it under the bed. I was not going to wear it. I still did not know what I was going to do, but not that. I left the room. I went to the kitchen. Vanessa was there, drinking coffee, checking her phone. "You already tried on the uniform. I need to talk to Ethan. Ethan already left for work, and he agrees with this, Evelyn. It was an idea from both of us." I sat down. My legs were shaking. "Vanessa, I have always treated you with respect. From day one. I have never interfered in your marriage. I have never criticized anything. Why are you doing this to me?" She put down the phone. She looked at me, directly in the eyes. "Because I can." 3 words. "Because I can." And in that moment I knew. I knew this was not just about helping around the house. This was about power, about humiliation, about putting me in my place. Besides, Evelyn, let's be honest, what else do you have? You lost your company, you lost your house, you have no money, you have nowhere to go. Here you have a roof, food. It is not so bad. Is it? I stood up. My hands were shaking so much I had to lean them on the table. I prefer to sleep on the street. Oh, Evelyn, do not be dramatic. I went back to my room, closed the door, and for the first time in months, I did not cry. I was too angry to cry. I took out my suitcase. I began to pack. I did not know where I was going to go. I did not have a plan. But I was not going to stay there. Then I heard the front door. Footsteps. Ethan's voice. I left the room. He was in the living room taking off his tie. "Ethan, I need to talk to you." He looked at me, tired. "Mom, what is wrong? What is wrong? Seriously, you ask me that." Vanessa appeared behind him. She stood by his side, as if they were a united front. "Your wife gave me a maid's uniform. She told me that if I want to live here, I have to work as a servant." I waited. I waited for him to say something, to be surprised, to get angry. But he did not. "Mom, it is just that you are not contributing. And we work a lot. The house is big. We need help. I am your mother, Ethan, not your employee. No one is treating you like an employee. We are just asking you to help. With a uniform, it is so you do not dirty your clothes." I could not believe it. My son, my own son, defending her, justifying this. "Do you agree with this?" He sighed. He rubbed his face. "Mom, look, you lost everything. I am giving you a place to live. The least you can do is help around the house. It is not that hard to understand. The least you can do." As if everything I had done for him for 32 years did not count. As if the years of sacrifice, the sleepless nights, the jobs I took so he could study, as if none of that mattered. "You know what, Ethan? You are right. Yes, yes. You are absolutely right. I lost everything, my company, my house, my dignity. But there is something I am not going to lose." "What?" "My self-respect." I went back to my room. I finished packing. 3 suitcases. It was all I had left in the world. When I came out, Ethan was in the living room, Vanessa by his side. Both looked at me. "Where are you going to go?" he asked. "I do not know, but I am not going to stay here. Mom, do not be stubborn. You are exaggerating." "Exaggerating." "Ethan, look at me. Look me in the eyes. I am your mother. Do you really think I deserve this?" He looked away. And that told me everything. "It is fine," I said. "I understand." I walked to the door, with my 3 suitcases, with my gold ring, with the little I had left. Vanessa spoke from behind. "When you get tired of living on the street, you know where your uniform is." I did not turn around. I did not answer. I opened the door, and I left. The sun was setting. The street was empty. I did not know where to go. I did not have enough money to rent anything. I had maybe $300 in my account, enough for a week in a cheap motel, maybe 2 if I ate very little. But I was going to find a way, because I had survived worse things, and if life had taught me anything, it was this. When you think you have hit rock bottom, there is always a way to get up. Always. I walked to the corner. I called an Uber with the last dollars I had on my card. I gave the address of my sister Lucy. We had not spoken in months. We had a complicated relationship, but she was my only option. As the car drove away from that house, I looked out the window. I saw Ethan at the door, standing, watching. He did not run after me. He did not call me. He just stayed there. And that image of my son letting me go without doing anything, hurt me more than anything Vanessa had said. While I tell all this, I think about where you are listening to me. Write the name of your city in the comments. I want to know that I am not alone in this. My sister Lucy lived in a modest neighborhood. Nothing fancy. A 4-story building without an elevator. A small apartment she shared with her husband Robert and her 2 teenage children. When I knocked on the door, she opened with that expression people have when they see something they did not expect to see. "Evelyn, what are you doing here?" My suitcase is on the floor. My face probably swollen from holding back tears during the entire trip. "Can I come in?" She stepped aside. Robert was in the living room watching football. He greeted me with a nod. "The kids in their rooms," Coffee Lucy asked. "Please." We sat at the small kitchen table. She made coffee in an old pot I recognized. It had belonged to our mother. "What happened?" she asked bluntly. I told her everything. The uniform, Vanessa, Ethan, the way I had left. Lucy listened in silence, drinking her coffee without interrupting. When I finished, she sighed. "Evelyn, you were always too soft with that boy. I was not soft. It was love. It was spoiling him. You gave him everything. And now look, I did not have the energy to argue. Maybe she was right. Maybe not. It did not matter anymore. Can I stay here? Just a few days, until I find something." Lucy looked toward the living room where Robert was. "It is just that the apartment is small, Evelyn. We do not have extra space. I can sleep on the sofa. I will not be a bother. I promise. It is not that. It is just that Robert and I are going through a difficult time financially. He lost his job 3 months ago. We are living off my salary, and it is barely enough." I nodded. Of course I could not stay. I understand. Sorry for coming like this without warning. Wait, I did not say you could not stay. Just give me a few days. I need to talk to Robert. Organize ourselves. Okay. I stayed that night. I slept on the sofa. A sagging sofa that smelled of dampness but was soft, and my sister had given me a clean blanket. I could not sleep. I looked at the ceiling, the water stains, the flickering light bulb. How had I gotten here a year ago? I had my own house, my company, employees, respect, and now I was here on my sister's sofa, without a dollar, without a plan. The next morning, Lucy made me scrambled eggs. Toast, coffee. "Evelyn, I am really sorry. I wish I could offer you more, but things are difficult. I know. Do not worry. I am going to find something. Do you have a plan? I am going to look for a job. Anything. Something that allows me to rent a room, even something small. And your company? Is there no way to recover it? No. The debts were too big. I had to declare bankruptcy. I lost everything. The clients, the machinery, everything." She shook her head. "And cannot Ethan help you financially?" "Even a little. I'm not going to ask him for anything. After what happened, I prefer to starve." "Oh, Evelyn, always so proud." "It is not pride, Lucy. It is dignity." I stayed at her house for 3 days. 3 days in which I went out every morning to look for work. I walked through the whole neighborhood. I entered stores, restaurants, offices. "Do you have experience in sales?" "Well, I had my own textile company for 32 years. We are looking for someone younger, someone who can carry boxes." "Sorry. Do you know how to use computers?" "Yes, of course. I handle Excel, email. We are looking for someone with experience in social media, Instagram, TikTok. Those things. I can learn. Sorry." "Thanks for coming." One after another. Doors closed, looks of pity, or worse, looks of indifference. One afternoon I entered a fast food restaurant. They were hiring. "How old are you?" the manager asked. A kid who could not be more than 25 years old, 59. "It is just that here the work is very heavy. You have to stand for many hours. You have to move fast. I do not know if you—" "I can do it. I worked 32 years in a factory. I know what hard work is. Leave me your number. If something opens up, we will call you." They never called. The 4th night at Lucy's house, I heard voices, Lucy and Robert arguing in their room. She cannot stay here forever, Lucy. I know, but she is my sister. Your sister who always had more than us, who never helped us when we needed it. That is not true. She invited us to dinner many times. Dinner is that helping. When I lost my job 3 years ago, do you remember we asked her to lend us money? Do you remember what she said? Silence. She said her company was going through a bad time, that she could not, and 2 weeks later we saw her on Facebook at an expensive restaurant with Ethan. Robert, please. Look, I do not want to be mean, but we have our own problems. We cannot be supporting your sister. I closed my eyes. I held back the tears. He was right. I could not stay here. The next morning I talked to Lucy. I am going to leave. I already found something. Yes, where I lied. A friend is going to let me stay with her for a few weeks. Do not worry. Are you sure? Yes. And thank you really for these days. She hugged me. A quick, awkward hug. Take care, Evelyn. I took my suitcases. I left. I did not have any friends. I did not have anywhere to go. I walked to a park nearby. I sat on a bench. I took out my phone. I checked my bank account. $120, that was all. $120 between me and the street. I called some former employees, women who had worked with me for years. Martha, this is Evelyn. Evelyn, how are you? I heard about the company. How sad. Yes. Hey, I am calling you because I need a favor. What do you need? I am looking for a job. Anything. Do you know of anything? Let me think. You know, my cousin has a dry cleaner. Maybe she needs help. I will give you her number. Thanks, Martha. I appreciate it very much. I called Martha's cousin. She cited me for an interview the next day. The dry cleaner was in a working-class neighborhood, small, smelled of chemicals and steam. The owner's name was Grace, a robust woman about 40 years old with her hair tied back in a tight ponytail. So you worked in textiles? Yes, 32 years. I had my own factory. Uh-huh. Well, this is not a factory. Here we wash clothes, we iron, everything by hand. It is hard work. I can do it. The pay is low, $350 a week. No benefits. Hours from 8 in the morning to 7 at night, Monday to Saturday. I did the math mentally. $1,400 a month, barely enough to rent a room and eat. It is fine. Can you start tomorrow? Yes. Okay, bring comfortable clothes and get ready to sweat. I left there with a job. It was not much, but it was something. I looked for rooms for rent on the internet. I found one 10 minutes from the dry cleaner. $400 a month. A small room in a tenement, shared bathroom, no kitchen. I took it. The owner of the tenement was an older lady, Mrs. Higgins. She looked me up and down. Coming alone? Yes. No husband. No children. No one. I do not want problems here. No parties. No visits at midnight. There will be no problem. Payment is in advance, every month. If you are late, you leave. I understand. I gave her the $400, plus $100 deposit. I had $20 left in my pocket. The room was worse than I imagined. 40 square feet, a twin bed with a sagging mattress, a plastic chair, a light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small window that faced a dirty patio, the walls with damp stains, the floor of cold cement. I sat on the bed. I looked around. This was my life now. I took out my mother's ring. I looked at it. The gold shone even in that dark place. I could sell it. Probably they would give me $1,000, maybe more. With that, I could live a few months while I found something better. But I could not. It was the only thing I had left of her, the only thing that connected me to who I had been. I put it away. That night, lying on that mattress that smelled of mold, I cried. I cried for everything I had lost, for the house I had bought with so much effort, for the company I had built from scratch, for the years of sacrifice that now seemed to mean nothing. And I cried for Ethan, for the boy who had promised to take care of me, for the man he had become, for the son I had lost long before losing everything else. But something happened that night. Something changed inside me. Amid the tears, amid the pain, I felt something else. Rage. A cold calm, but intense rage. It was not rage against Ethan, nor against Vanessa. It was rage against myself, for having allowed myself to get here, for having accepted crumbs, for having believed that love was enough to sustain a relationship where there was no respect. I had spent my life giving, sacrificing myself, putting myself in last place, and for what to end up here, in a room of 40 square feet, with $20 in my pocket. No, I could not end up like this. I was not going to end up like this. I wiped my tears. I sat on the bed. I turned on the bulb. I took out an old notebook I had in one of my suitcases, and a pen, and I wrote things I know how to do. Sew, design patterns, manage, sell, survive. I looked at the list. I had built a company once, from scratch, without anyone's help. I could do it again. I did not know how. I did not know how long it would take me, but I was going to do it. Because if life had taught me anything, it was that one does not stay lying on the ground waiting for someone to come pick you up. You get up yourself, even if your knees hurt, even if your legs shake, even if you do not know where to walk. You get up, and you start again. The next day, I started working at the dry cleaner. Grace had not exaggerated. The work was exhausting. Steam, heat, ironing for hours, hand-washing heavy garments, carrying bags of dirty clothes. My hands, which for years had handled fine fabrics and industrial machines, were now red-cracked. They hurt every night. But I did not complain. I worked. And while I worked, I thought. I thought about how I had started my company. I remembered. I had started with small jobs, alterations for neighbors, hems, buttons, zippers. Little by little, I had built a client base. Then came the dresses, the prom dresses, the brides, and then the school uniforms, the big orders, the contracts. It had taken 10 years to have my own small factory, another 10 to make it grow. It had not been fast, but it had been real. Why could I not do it again? One afternoon on my half-hour break to eat, I took out my phone. I searched for Facebook sewing groups, entrepreneurs, women who sold their products from home. I joined several. I posted. I offer sewing services, alterations, hems, zippers, buttons, custom clothing, affordable prices, guaranteed work. Nothing happened that day, nor the next, but on the third day I received a private message. Hello, do you make curtains? I answered immediately. Yes. What do you need? I need curtains for my living room. How much do you charge? I made a quick quote. Fabric, work hours, finishes, $120. Okay. When can you? Next week. Perfect. My first client. It was not much, but it was a start. I bought fabric with the money I had left from my first paycheck at the dry cleaner. I worked all Sunday night. My hands were shaking with fatigue, but I finished the curtains. They were perfect. The client was delighted. She paid me and recommended me to 2 friends. And so it began, little by little. One job, then another, and another. Curtains, cushion covers, pants alterations, simple dresses. I worked at the dry cleaner during the day, and in my room during the nights and Sundays. I slept 4 hours, sometimes less. But every dollar I earned, I saved. I separated it. I took care of it as if it were gold. 2 months passed. 2 months without talking to Ethan. 2 months without knowing about him. A part of me hoped he would call, that he would ask about me, that he would apologize, but he did not, and I did not look for him either. One afternoon while I was ironing at the dry cleaner, Grace approached. Hey, Evelyn, do you know how to fix sewing machines a little? Why, I have an old one at my house. It is broken. My mom used it, but it has been stored for years. Do you want to see it? If you fix it, I will give it to you. My heart skipped a beat. Seriously? Yes. Anyway, it is useless to me. But if you can use it, it is yours. That night, Grace took me to her house. We went up to a room full of old boxes. And there it was, an industrial sewing machine. Old, rusty, but complete. I checked it. I tested it. The motor worked. It just needed oil, cleaning, an adjustment in the tension. I can fix it. It is yours. I cried that night, again. But this time, not from sadness, from hope. Because that machine was more than metal and parts. It was a tool. It was an opportunity. It was the beginning of something new. Have you also had to start from scratch? Have you lost everything and had to get up? Tell me. Sometimes we need to know that we are not alone in this fight. The sewing machine changed everything. I spent a whole weekend cleaning it. Oil, old rags, patience. My hands smelled of grease. But little by little, that old machine came back to life. The sound of the motor when I turned it on for the first time. It was like listening to music. I placed it in my room next to the small window. It was the only place where it fit. Mrs. Higgins, the owner of the tenement, came up to complain about the noise. "What is that racket?" "Is it my sewing machine? I work at night, just a few hours. Here you cannot do business. This is a residential area. It is not a business. I just do small jobs to earn something extra." She looked at me with suspicion. "Let there be no customers going up and down at all hours. This is a decent house. Do not worry." But Mrs. Higgins was right. I could not receive clients there. It was impossible. I had to figure it out. Clients sent me measurements by WhatsApp, photos of what they wanted. I made quotes. I bought fabric at the market during my lunch hour at the dry cleaner. And I worked at night. The deliveries I made on Sundays, in meeting points, subway stations, coffee shops. It was exhausting. But the orders began to grow. A client recommended me to her sister. That sister with her friends from work. Those friends with their neighbors. Word of mouth. In 3 months, I was earning almost the same sewing as in the dry cleaner, but I could not leave the dry cleaner yet. It was my safe income, the solid ground under my feet. One afternoon while I was ironing, I felt the phone vibrate in my pocket. It was an unknown number. I hesitated, but I answered. "Hello, Mom." My heart stopped. "Ethan. This is Ethan." As if I did not know. As if I did not recognize his voice after having listened to it for 32 years. "What do you want?" My voice came out colder than I expected. "I wanted to know how you were. Now you care." "Mom, please let's not start like this." "Start like this, Ethan? You kicked me out of your house. You gave me a maid's uniform." "What did you expect, Silence? I did not kick you out. You left. Because you gave me no choice. There are always choices, Mom." That phrase hurt me. As if I had chosen this. As if I had wanted to end up working in a dry cleaner, living in a room of 40 square feet. "Why are you calling Ethan? Because you are my mom. And it is not right that we do not talk. And Vanessa." Does she also think it is not right Vanessa has nothing to do with this? Of course she has to do with it. She was the one who gave me that uniform. She was the one who told me I could use it or leave. She just... Look, things got out of control. Maybe it was a mistake, but you also got very dramatic. Dramatic. That word. "I understand," I said. "Anything else, Mom, do not be like that. I am calling you so we can fix this." "Fix what exactly? Do you want me to come back? Do you want me to put on the uniform and clean your house?" "No. I want us to talk like adults." "Okay, let's talk. Are you going to apologize?" "Apologize for what? For letting your wife humiliate me. For not defending me, for making me feel like a burden. I did not do that. You did nothing. And that is exactly the problem. Mom, you knew we were going through a difficult time. The house is expensive. Vanessa and I work a lot. We just wanted you to collaborate." "Collaborate, Ethan? I am your mother, not a tenant, not an employee. I know you are my mother. That is why I am calling you. How long did it take you to call me? 3 months, 2.5 months. Sorry. 2.5 months. Much better. I was waiting for your anger to pass. It is not anger, Ethan. It is disappointment." Long silence. I could hear his breathing. "Where are you living?" he finally asked. "It is not your problem." "Yes, it is my problem. You are my mom. Now I am your mom." 2.5 months ago, I was a burden. I never said that. You did not have to say it. Are you okay? Do you have a place to live? Do you have money? I am fine. I am working. I have a room. I am surviving. What are you working on? I hesitated. I did not want to tell him. I did not want to give him the satisfaction of knowing that I, who had had my own company, now ironed other people's clothes. But I did not want to lie either. At a dry cleaner, silence. A dry cleaner. Yes. Mom, you are a businesswoman. You not anymore. Now I work at a dry cleaner. And you know what? I am proud of that job because it is honest, and it is enough for me to survive. Does it not have to be like this? Can I what? Go back to your house, put on the uniform. No, I was not going to say that. I can help you with some money, so you can rent something better, so that I do not want your money. Mom, do not be proud. It is not pride, it is dignity. There is a difference. It is fine. As you wish. I just wanted to know you were okay. You know, I am fine. Can we see each other? Eat together. Talk. I do not know, Ethan. I do not know if I am ready for that. Okay, I understand, but think about it, please. I will think about it. I love you, Mom. Those words, after all. I love you. What good were those words without actions to back them up? Goodbye, Ethan. I hung up. Grace was looking at me from the other side of the shop. Everything good. Yes, everything good. But it was not good. That call stirred everything inside me. A part of me wanted to believe him, wanted to believe that he really cared, that he had called because he missed me. But another part, knew something did not add up. Why now? Why, after almost 3 months, all afternoon while I ironed, I turned the matter over. And then I understood. Guilt. Ethan was calling out of guilt. Not for love, not because he missed me, but because probably someone had asked about me, or because Vanessa had told him it looked bad not to talk to his mother. It was a call to clear his conscience, and I had almost fallen. Almost. That night in my room while I sewed a dress for a sweet 16, I thought about my marriage, about my husband, about Robert. He bore his name, although now almost no one remembered him. Robert had been a good man, hard-working, quiet, not very expressive, but faithful. We had met young. I was 20 years old, he 23. He worked at a hardware store. He earned little, but always treated me with respect. We got married a year after meeting. A small wedding without money for big celebrations. The first years were difficult. We lived in a tiny apartment. The money was barely enough. I did sewing from home. He worked double shifts. When Ethan was born, Robert cried with happiness. He is perfect, he said, looking at our baby. He is perfect, Evelyn. He was a good father, patient, loving. He loved carrying Ethan, playing with him. But Robert was never ambitious. He was content with what he had, with living day by day. I was not. I wanted more. Not on a whim, but because I wanted to give my son a better life. I began to take more jobs, to look for clients, to dream of something bigger. Robert did not understand. Why do you want more? We already have enough to survive, but I want Ethan to study, to have opportunities. He will have opportunities. He does not need to go to expensive schools for that. We argued not much, but we argued. And then he died. A heart attack, massive, at 38 years old. Ethan was 12. I remember that day as if it were yesterday. Robert got up early as always. He drank his coffee. He kissed me on the forehead. See you tonight, my love. Until tonight. Those were the last words we exchanged. At 11 in the morning, I received the call from the hospital. Are you Roberto Mendoza's wife? Yes. You need to come to the hospital. Urgent. When I arrived, it was too late. He had died in the ambulance. The first months after his death were hell. Not only because of the pain of losing him, but because of the fear. How was I going to sustain the house alone? How was I going to pay for Ethan's school? How was I going to survive? But I survived because I had no other choice. I took more work. I slept 3-4 hours. I got up at 5 in the morning. I worked until midnight. And little by little, I was building something bigger. From small jobs, I went to big orders. From big orders to contracts. From contracts to my own small factory. It took years, but I achieved it. And during all that time, my engine was Ethan. Everything I did was for him. To give him the life Robert had not been able to give him. So he could have options. So he would not have to fight like me. And now that same son had let me go without looking back. He had exchanged me for a woman who could not stand me. He had made me feel that I was worth nothing. I stopped sewing. My eyes were full of tears. Not for Ethan this time, but for me, for all the years I had sacrificed, for all the sleepless nights, for all the times I had put myself in last place, and for what? To end up here alone in a room that was not even mine. But then something happened. I looked at my hands, my old wrinkled hands with scars from years of work. Those hands had built something once. Those hands could build something again. I wiped my tears. I finished the Sweet 16 dress. It turned out beautiful, pale pink with beading on the bodice, bulky tulle on the skirt. The client picked it up on Sunday. She was delighted. "Mrs. Evelyn, it is precious. My daughter is going to cry with emotion. She paid me $350 and gave me a $50 tip for the beautiful work. $400 in my hands. It was not much, but it was mine, earned with my effort, with my hands, with my dignity intact." That week, Ethan called again. "Mom, have you thought about what I told you?" "Can we see each other, Ethan? I am busy working. It will only be an hour. A coffee, please." I hesitated. A part of me wanted to see him, wanted to see his face, wanted to know if his eyes said the same as his words. "It is fine, but not in the suburbs. In a neutral place. Where there is a coffee shop near the downtown subway station." "There. Okay. Saturday at 3, Sunday at 5. Why Sunday?" "Because I work on Saturday." "Okay. Sunday at 5. The days until Sunday were strange. A part of me anticipated the meeting. Another part feared it. What was I going to tell him? What did he expect me to say? Was he going to apologize, or was he going to keep justifying himself? Sunday arrived. I showered. I put on my best clothes. Black pants, a white blouse, clean shoes. I put on light makeup. Not much, just enough not to look tired. I looked at myself in the small mirror in my room. I looked older, my hair with more gray, my face thinner, expression lines more marked. But I also looked stronger, as if everything that had happened had hardened me on the outside, but also on the inside. I arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early. I ordered a coffee. I sat at a table by the window. I waited. Ethan arrived on time. I saw him enter looking for me with his gaze. When he found me, he smiled, a small, nervous smile. He approached. He sat in front of me. "Hello, Mom. Hello." He looked good. Ironed shirt, dress pants, expensive shoes. He ordered a coffee, too. We both stayed in silence for a few seconds. "You look good," he finally said. "Thanks." "How have you been?" "Working like I told you." "Yes, about that." "Are you still at the dry cleaner?" "Yes, and I also sew. At night. I have several clients already." "Clients. Are you starting over?" "Something like that." He nodded. He drank his coffee. "Mom, I want you to know that I am sorry. What happened at the house should not have been like that. No, it should not have. Vanessa and I were stressed. The new house expenses, everything. I understand stress, Ethan, but that does not justify what you did to me. I know, and I apologize." "Is Vanessa sorry too?" He hesitated. "Vanessa. Well, she has her way of being. She is difficult sometimes, but she is not a bad person. Ethan, your wife gave me a maid's uniform, treated me as if I were trash, and you said nothing. Yes, I said something. Later when you left, what did you tell her that she had crossed the line, that it was not right?" "And what did she say?" "She said that you were very dramatic, that it was all your fault for leaving like that." "Of course. So she is not sorry. She is complicated, but she loves me, and I love her. I am happy for you." "Mom, do not be like that." "Like what?" "Honest cold." "I am not cold. I am just tired, Ethan. Tired of pretending everything is fine when it is not." He lowered his gaze. "What do you want me to do?" "Nothing. I expect nothing from you. That is not true. You want something. If not, you would not have come." He was right. Why had I come? What did I expect from this meeting? I wanted to see you. I wanted to know if there was still something left of the boy I raised, of the boy who promised to take care of me. I am still me, Mom. No, you are not that boy anymore. And maybe I have part of the blame. Maybe I gave you too much. Maybe I never taught you to value what you had. Do not say that. It is the truth. I gave you everything. And I never asked you for anything in return. And now that I needed you, you were not there. His eyes filled with tears. I wanted to be. But Vanessa owns you, Ethan. You chose to support her. And it is fine. She is your wife. But do not pretend that I do not hurt. It hurts me too. Yes. Does it hurt you because you did not call me in 3 months? You did not ask where I was, if I was okay, if I had food, nothing. I thought you needed space. Space? How convenient. He took my hand over the table. Mom, please. I do not want to fight. I want us to fix this. I withdrew my hand gently. Fix what exactly? Our relationship. You cannot fix something that broke so deep, Ethan. Not that fast. Then give me time. Give me the chance to regain your trust. Okay, I will give you time, but I am not going back to your house, and I am not going to pretend everything is fine. I am not asking you that. What are you asking me then? That you do not cut me out of your life, that we keep talking, that you give me a chance to show you that I am still your son. I looked at him, really looked at him, and I saw a man, not the boy I remembered, a weak man, cowardly in some ways, but also my son. Okay, I finally said, we can talk, from time to time, but without pressure, without promises. Just see how it goes. Thanks, Mom. We finished our coffees in an uncomfortable silence. When I got up to leave, he also got up. Shall I take you? No, thanks. I prefer to go alone. When do we see each other again, I do not know. I will call you. Okay. He hugged me, a clumsy hug, brief. I left the coffee shop without looking back. On the subway, back to my room, I felt strange, not relieved, not happy, just empty, as if I had closed a door, but without knowing if it was ever going to open again. Have you ever forgiven someone, but without forgetting? Have you felt that weight of wanting to believe in someone again, but without being able to tell me? Sometimes forgiveness is more complicated than we are told. The days after that meeting with Ethan were strange. I felt as if I were floating in an intermediate place, neither angry nor at peace, just existing. I continued with my routine. Dry cleaner from 8 to 7, sewing at night, whole Sundays in front of the machine. The orders kept growing. I already had a small waiting list. 2 weeks, sometimes 3. A client asked me for 5 bridesmaid dresses for a wedding in December. Can you have them ready by December 15th? We were at the end of October. Yes, but I need a deposit to buy the fabric. Sure. How much half? $750. Perfect. I will deposit it today. $750. It was the largest amount I had received since I started over. With that money, I was able to buy better quality fabric, thread, interfacing, invisible zippers, everything I needed. One afternoon, while I was cutting patterns in my room, Mrs. Higgins knocked on my door. Evelyn, I need to talk to you. I opened. She had her face of, I come to complain. Look, it has been several Sundays that people come to look for you to pick up things, and I do not like that. They are my clients. They just come to pick up their orders. They do not make noise. They do not cause problems. I do not care. This is a residential area. You cannot have a business here. It is not a business. I just do small jobs. Anyway, either you stop receiving people here or I find you another place to live. My heart raced. Mrs. Higgins, please, I pay on time. I do not cause problems. I just need... Rules are rules. Decide. She closed the door. I sat on the bed, trembling. I could not lose this room. I did not have money to deposit elsewhere, and with the orders I had, I could not afford the luxury of moving right now, but I could not stop receiving clients either. It was impossible. How was I going to deliver the dresses if they could not come for them? I thought all night looking for a solution. And then it occurred to me. Meeting points. I was not going to receive more clients in my room. I would make deliveries in coffee shops, in plazas, in public places. It was more complicated. It involved carrying the dresses, going out coordinating schedules, but it was the only option. The next morning, before leaving for the dry cleaner, I knocked on Mrs. Higgins' door. I am not going to receive clients here anymore. I will make the deliveries outside. You better, because if I see one more person coming up, you leave. Do not worry. That same day, I notified all my clients. Please, from now on, deliveries will be at meeting points. They can be near your home or work at no extra cost. Everyone understood. No one canceled. And so I continued working sewing delivering. One Saturday afternoon, after delivering 3 dresses at different points in the city, I returned exhausted to my room. I threw myself on the bed without strength even to take off my shoes. The phone vibrated. It was Ethan. "Mom, how are you? I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks." I had not thought of him, not even once. I had been so busy, so focused on surviving, that I simply had not had mental space to think about our relationship. I answered, "I am fine. Busy. Can I call you? Better tomorrow? I am tired." "Okay, I will call you tomorrow." The next day, Sunday, while I was cutting fabric for the bridesmaid dresses, Ethan called. "Mom, tell me, how have you been?" "Good, working a lot." "Are you still at the dry cleaner?" "Yes. And with sewing, I have quite a few orders." "That is good, I am glad. Did you rent something better already?" "No, I am still in the same place." "Is it a safe place?" "Yes, it is fine. Can I go see you to see where you live?" "No, I prefer not." "Why?" Because I do not want to. It is my space and I prefer it to stay that way." Silence. "Okay, I understand. Hey, I wanted to tell you something. What Vanessa and I are looking to have a baby." My heart stopped. "A baby?" "Yes, we have been trying for several months and, well, we wanted you to know. Because when it happens, obviously we want you to be part of your grandson or granddaughter's life, a baby. Ethan was going to be a father and I was going to be a grandmother. I should have been excited. I should have felt joy, but I only felt an emptiness. Mom, are you there?" "Yes, I am here. What do you think?" "Well, I am happy for you if that is what you want. Just that, are you happy?" "What do you want me to say, Ethan? It is your decision, your life, but you are going to be a grandmother. I thought you would be excited. I am excited. But I also feel other things." "Like what?" "Like sadness. Because I know that baby is going to grow up with Vanessa as his main maternal figure, and I am going to be the grandmother they see from time to time in awkward meetings in coffee shops. It does not have to be like that, but that is how it is going to be, because things between us are not right, Ethan. And bringing a baby is not going to fix them. I am not saying a baby is going to fix anything. I just wanted to share it with you, and I appreciate it really. But I need time to process this." "Okay, I understand. Does Vanessa know you are calling me?" "Yes." She also wants things to improve between you." I hesitated a lot. "Seriously, yes, really. She says what happened was a mistake, that she was stressed. Ethan, Vanessa has never asked me for forgiveness. She has not even tried to talk to me. It is just that she has a hard time expressing herself, but she does feel it. If she really felt it, she would call me, she would look for me, but she does not do it. Maybe she is afraid you will reject her. She has every right to be afraid, just as I was afraid when I was left with nothing and you turned your backs on me." "Okay, Mom, I understood. You are still angry. I am not angry. I am hurt. There is a difference." He sighed. "Well, I just wanted to tell you. When we have good news, I will let you know." "Okay. I love you, Mom." "Me too." I hung up. I stayed sitting on the bed with the phone in my hands. A baby. My grandchild. How was I going to do that? Was Vanessa going to let me see him? Was I going to have to ask permission to hold my own grandchild? Was I going to have to pretend everything was fine between us to be close to that baby? The tears began to fall uncontrollably. For the first time in weeks, I cried. I cried for everything I was missing, for the relationship with my son, for the future with my grandchild that I probably was never going to have. But in the midst of crying, something else emerged. Rage. Rage for allowing myself to be in this position. Rage for not having demanded more, for not having set limits before. I wiped my tears. I got up. I was not going to continue like this. I was not going to allow my life to depend on Ethan and Vanessa's decisions. I was not going to wait for crumbs of affection, permissions to see my grandchild, awkward meetings in coffee shops. I was going to build my own life, my own path, and if they wanted to be part of that, they would have to earn it. The following days, I worked like never before. I finished the 5 bridesmaid dresses. They were perfect. Emerald green empire cut flowing fabric, elegant but comfortable. The bride picked them up 2 weeks before the wedding. Mrs. Evelyn, they are spectacular. My bridesmaids are going to cry when they see them. I am very glad. Do you have cards I want to recommend you to all my friends? Yes, I have. I took out some cards I had made simple with my name, my number, and custom sewing guaranteed quality. She gave me a $50 tip for the beautiful work and for having them on time. $50 extra. I saved them. Every dollar counted. One afternoon at the dry cleaner, Grace approached me. Evelyn, can I ask you a question? Sure. Do you know how to make uniforms? Like uniforms for companies? Yes. I made many in my factory. School uniforms, office uniforms, restaurant uniforms. Why? Because my cousin has a restaurant and is looking for someone to make uniforms for the waiters. I told him about you. Are you interested? How many uniforms? 10 for now. But if they fit well, he is going to need more. He is opening more branches. Yes, of course I'm interested. I will give you his number. That same night I called Grace's cousin. His name was David. Mrs. Evelyn, Grace told me about you. Can you make restaurant uniforms? Yes. Pants, shirts, aprons, whatever you need. Perfect. How much would you charge for 10 complete uniforms? Black shirt, black pants, white apron? I did quick math. $800, all inclusive. Fabric tailoring finishes. Sounds good to me. How much time do you need? 3 weeks. Perfect. Can you come to the restaurant tomorrow to take measurements? Yes. At what time? At 10 in the morning before we open. I will be there. The next day, I asked for permission at the dry cleaner to arrive an hour late. Grace covered for me. I went to the restaurant. It was called Home Taste, a small but nice place, clean with good decoration. David received me. A man of about 40 years, kind professional. Mrs. Evelyn, good thing you came. Look, what I need is something comfortable, but that looks good. Nothing too formal, but not too casual either. I understand. Do you have any design in mind? Honestly, no. I trust your judgment. Okay, I am going to do something classic. Collared shirt, long sleeve that can be rolled up. Pants with elastic waistband for comfort. Apron with pockets. Sounds perfect. I took measurements of all the waiters. 8 men, 2 women. When do you need them for? For December 15th. We are going to have a reopening. You will have them before. By the 10th. Excellent. I give you half right now, $400, and the rest when you deliver. Perfect. He gave me the money. In cash, $400. I left there feeling something I had not felt in a long time. Hope. Hope that this could grow, that I could build something real again. That same week, I bought fabric. Lots of fabric. Black, white, good quality. I worked every night, every Sunday. The sewing machine worked until 1, until 2 in the morning. Mrs. Higgins knocked on my door one night. Evelyn, it is already very late. Turn off that machine. Excuse me, Mrs. Higgins. I am almost finished. Every day the same story. People want to sleep. I am sorry. Tomorrow I finish earlier, but I did not finish earlier. I could not. I had delivery dates, commitments, clients who trusted me. One night while I was sewing, the phone vibrated. It was a message from an unknown number. Hello, they gave me your number. I am Sophia. I need a wedding dress. Do you make wedding dresses? My heart jumped. Wedding dresses. It was the most complicated thing, the most delicate, what had the most pressure, but also what paid the best. Yes, I make wedding dresses. When do you need it for March? I have time, but I want something unique, something I cannot find in stores. We can make an appointment, so you can tell me what you have in mind. Perfect. Saturday at 11. Yes. Where is there a coffee shop where we can see each other to talk quietly? Yes. There is one downtown, Tuscan Cafe. Do you know it? Yes. See you there. On Saturday, I arrived at the cafe 15 minutes early. Sophia arrived on time, a young woman, maybe 35 years old, elegant, sure of herself. Mrs. Evelyn, yes. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. We sat down, ordered coffee. Look, I am going to be honest with you. I have gone to many stores, and everything I see is very commercial, very standard. I want something different, something that is mine. I understand. Do you have any idea of what you want? She took out her phone, showed me pictures from Pinterest. I like these styles, vintage, with lace. But I do not want something too overloaded. I want elegance, simplicity. I love it. I can do it. How much do you charge? This was the difficult question. How much was my work worth? How much should I charge? I thought fast. Fabric, time, fittings, adjustments. $2,500. Sophia did not hesitate. Sounds fair. Do you need a deposit? Yes, half, to buy the fabric and materials. Perfect. I will deposit it today. I could not believe it. $1,250 for a dress. When can we start next week? I need to take your measurements and make some sketches for you to approve. Perfect. I will send you a message to coordinate. I left that coffee shop floating. A wedding dress. $2,500. With that money, I could do so many things. I could save. I could buy a better sewing machine. I could rent a bigger place. I could build something real. That afternoon, walking down the street, I passed a small commercial space for rent. A storefront. Nothing fancy, but with a good location. I looked through the window. It was empty, dirty, but it had potential. There was a number on the sign. For rent. I wrote it down. It was not the time yet. I did not have the money for the rent, nor for the deposit, but soon, I could have it. I kept walking, and for the first time in months, I smiled. A real smile. Of hope. Of knowing that I was building something. Something that no one could take away from me. Something that was completely mine. That night in my room, I took out my old notebook. The list I had written months ago. Things I know how to do. Sew design patterns. Manage, sell, survive. I added one more. Start over. And underneath I wrote, things I am going to achieve. Rent a space. Hire help. Grow the business. Regain my dignity. Show Ethan that I do not need his pity. Prove to myself that I could. I closed the notebook, and I kept sewing, because every stitch was a step, every dress was a test, that I was not finished, that I was just beginning. I still ask myself, how many times do we have to hit rock bottom to realize how strong we are? Have you also discovered strength you did not know you had? Tell me. I want to know what made you get up. December arrived with an unusual cold for the city. I kept working non-stop. The restaurant uniforms, Sophia's wedding dress, smaller orders that kept coming in. I slept 4 hours, sometimes 3. My hands were destroyed, cut, with new calluses over old calluses. But every night, counting the money I had earned, putting it in a shoebox under my bed, I felt something close to peace. It was not happiness yet, but it was hope. The restaurant uniforms were ready on December 8th, 2 days earlier than promised. David received them at his restaurant. He checked them one by one. Mrs. Evelyn, they are impeccable. The quality is excellent. Thank you. You know what, I'm going to need 20 more uniforms for the new branch we opened uptown. Can you? Yes, of course I can. Perfect. I will deposit the rest of what I owe you. And the advance for the new ones. He deposited $800. $400 from the first order, $400 advance for the new one. $800 in my account. Added to what I had saved, I already had almost $3,000. $3,000 that I had earned with my own hands in less than 3 months. That night in my room, I took out the number of the shop I had seen. I dialed. A man answered. A man. Hello, good evening. I am calling about the shop for rent downtown. Yes. Are you interested? Yes. How much is the rent? $800 a month plus 2 months deposit. $2,400 to move in. Did I have it? Almost. Can I see it? Sure. Tomorrow at 10. Perfect. The next day, I asked for permission at the dry cleaner again. Grace looked at me curiously. Everything good? Yes, I have an important appointment. Okay, do not worry. I arrived at the shop at 10 o'clock sharp. The owner was an older gentleman, Mr. Hector. Come in, come in. Look, the shop is not very big, but it has good foot traffic and the area is safe. We went in. It smelled of dampness. The walls were stained, the cement floor cracked, but it had potential. It had a large window facing the street, a backspace that could serve as storage, a small bathroom, and above all, it had natural light. What kind of business do you plan to open sewing? A sewing workshop? Ah, perfect. There used to be a stationery store here, but it closed a year ago. I walked through the space imagining a cutting table here, the sewing machine there, a space to serve customers, a rack to display some pieces. I am interested. Okay, I need 2 months deposit and the first month in advance. It is $2,400 to enter. Can I give it to you in 2 weeks? I'm waiting for a payment. Okay, but I'm going to ask you to leave me $100 to hold it so no one else sees it. Perfect. I took $100 out of my purse money I had saved for emergencies. He gave me a handwritten receipt. In 2 weeks. If you do not bring me the rest, I lose the hold. Understood. Understood. I left there trembling not from fear, from excitement. A shop. My own shop. I was going to have my own workspace. I just needed $2,300 more. I had it almost. I was only missing about $500. Sophia's wedding dress would give me the other $1,250 when I delivered it, and I had other small orders that would give me about $300 more. I was going to make it. Those days I worked harder than ever. I finished the small orders. A pair of pants, a skirt, 2 blouses. I delivered everything on time. Everything was paid. And the wedding dress was taking shape. French lace, A-line, open back, short train. It was the most beautiful dress I had made in years. Sophia came every week for fittings. Every time she was more delighted. Mrs. Evelyn, it is perfect. It is exactly what I wanted. The final adjustments in the hem are still missing, but it already looks spectacular. In the third fitting, while I was adjusting the waist, Sophia asked me, "Do you have children?" The question took me by surprise. Yes, a son. Is he married? Yes. How nice. Are you going to have grandchildren soon? I stayed silent for a few seconds. I hope so. You must be excited. Yes, it is complicated. Sophia turned to look at me in the mirror. Complicated. Why, I do not know why I told her. Maybe because I needed to talk about it. Maybe because Sophia had that energy that makes you feel safe. My son and I do not have a good relationship right now. Things happened, and although he wants to fix it, I am not ready yet. What happened, if it is not too much indiscretion? When I lost my company, I went to live with him, and his wife did not want me there. She made me feel that I was a burden, and my son did not defend me. Sophia nodded slowly. That hurts. More when it is your own son. Yes, it hurts a lot. And now I am here starting over alone, and it is fine. I am learning that I do not need anyone's approval to fend for myself. Wow, that is very strong. I had no other choice. Sophia looked at me in the mirror, with respect. You know what, Mrs. Evelyn? You are my heroine. I laughed, but it was a laugh with tears. I am no heroine, I am just a woman surviving. Exactly. And that is heroic. I finished the fitting. Sophia changed. Before leaving, she hugged me. Thank you not only for the dress, but for sharing your story with me. It makes me feel that if you could get up after all that, I can also handle whatever comes. That is right. We all can. That night in my room, I thought about that conversation, about how my story could inspire someone else, about how pain, when you process it, can become strength. On December 14th, 2 weeks after putting the hold on the shop, I had the full money, $2,300 in cash. I went to look for Mr. Hector. I gave him the money. He counted every bill. Perfect. Here is your contract. Sign here, and here, and here. Sign, with a trembling hand. The keys are yours. You can start whenever you want. The rent is due on the 15th of each month. Thank you. I took the keys. Cold, heavy, real. I walked to the shop. I opened the door. I entered. The empty space, silent, smelling of dust. But it was mine. I sat on the floor in the middle of the empty shop, and I cried. I cried from relief, from gratitude, from pride. Because this was mine. No one had given it to me. No one had helped me. I had achieved it alone with my hands, with my effort, with my dignity intact. I took out my phone. I took a picture of the empty shop. I posted on Facebook. After months of hard work today, I opened my sewing workshop, small but mine. If you know someone who needs alterations, custom dresses, uniforms, anything here I will be. Evelyn Sewing, quality and dedication guaranteed. I added the address, my number. In less than an hour, I had 20 comments. Congratulations. What pride, Evelyn. You deserve it. I'm going to recommend you to my friends. And then I saw a comment that froze my blood. It was from Vanessa. How good that you found something to do. Ethan and I wish you the best. I read that comment 5 times. Every word was a blow. Something to do. As if this were a hobby. As if it were not something real. Something important. And then Ethan and I. Always together. Always a united front. I deleted the comment. I blocked her. I was not going to let her contaminate this moment. I spent the next few days cleaning the shop. I swept. I mopped. I washed the windows. I painted the walls white. Grace helped me one Sunday. She brought her husband. Between the 3 of us, we left the place shining. It looks beautiful, Evelyn. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Are you going to quit the dry cleaner yet? Not yet. I need to have more clients before leaving. But soon. When you quit, let me know. To prepare your severance pay, I will do it. I bought a large work table. Used, but in good condition. $150. I moved my sewing machine to the shop. I put it next to the window. I hung a simple curtain to divide the space. Front, to serve customers. Back, my workspace. I bought an old rack at a flea market. $20. I had a sign made. Mine. Simple. Evelyn Sewing. Alterations and custom design. It cost $100, but it was worth every penny. On December 20th, I officially opened. No customers the first day, nor the second. The third day, an older lady arrived. Do you do hems here? Yes, of course. I have 3 pairs of pants. How much do you charge? $5 per pant. Okay, for when tomorrow? Perfect. My first client in my own shop. $15. But it was not the money. It was the symbol. I was doing it. I was building something real. December 24th. Christmas Eve. I closed the shop early. I had no plans. I had no family to celebrate with. Lucy had invited me, but I had declined. I did not want to be uncomfortable. Ethan had sent me a message. Mom, do you want to come to dinner with us? Vanessa made turkey. I replied, Thank you, but I'm going to spend the night working. I have orders to deliver. He did not reply. That night in my shop alone, I finished Sophia's wedding dress, the last stitch. The last adjustment. It was perfect. I hung it on the rack. I looked at it under the lamplight. It was more than a dress. It was proof that I could create something beautiful, even in the middle of chaos, even after losing everything. At 11 at night, I heard fireworks outside, families celebrating. I was alone, in an empty shop, on Christmas Eve. But I did not feel alone. I felt free. Free from expectations, free from disappointments, free from depending on someone else. I took out my phone. I dialed Ethan's number. He answered on the 3rd ring. Mom, are you okay? Yes, I am okay. I just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Mom. Are you sure you do not want to come? We are still awake. Sure, thank you. Where are you? In my workshop. Finishing a job. Your workshop. Yes, I rented a shop. I opened my own sewing workshop. Silence. Seriously. Yes, when? A week ago. And why didn't you tell me? Because Because I did not need to. I did not need your approval, nor your opinion. I just did it. Mom, it is incredible. Thank you. Can I go see it someday? When I'm ready. Okay, I understand. Hey, Mom, I am proud of you. Those words. After all, I am proud of you. I should have been excited. I should have cried with happiness, but I only felt empty because those words arrived late, too late. Thank you, Ethan. Take care. You too. I hung up. I sat on the floor of the shop, under the dim light, and I understood something. I understood that Ethan's pride no longer filled me like before, that his approval was no longer what I sought, that I had found something more important, my own pride, my own approval, and that was enough. On December 26th, Sophia came for her dress. She saw it. She tried it on. She cried. It is perfect. It is exactly what I dreamed. I am very glad. She gave me an envelope. Here is the rest. And something extra. For everything. I opened the envelope. There was $1,500, Sophia. It was only $1,250. I know, but you deserve more. For the work, for the dedication, for everything. She hugged me. Thank you, Mrs. Evelyn, not only for the dress, but for reminding me that women are strong, that we can handle anything. We all can. You just have to believe it. When Sophia left, I stared at the money, $1,500. With what I had saved, I already had almost $5,000. I could buy a second machine. I could hire someone to help me. I could grow. But above all, I could prove to Ethan, to Vanessa, and to myself that I was not a victim. I was a survivor, and I was just getting started. Have you also had moments where you realize that you no longer need the approval of who used to be everything to you? Moments where you discover that your own voice is enough? Tell me, because sometimes that is the most painful and the most liberating revelation. The new year arrived with promises. Not the empty promises people make over glasses of champagne, but real promises, commitments to myself. On January 2nd, I resigned from the dry cleaner. Grace hugged me when I gave her the news. I knew this day was going to come. It makes me very sad to lose you, but it gives me more joy to see you grow. I will not forget you. Thank you for everything. For the sewing machine. For believing in me. For everything. Go and conquer the world, Evelyn. She gave me my severance pay. $350. It was not much, but it helped. Now my time was completely mine. For the workshop. To build. The first days of January were slow. Few customers. Some people entered asked prices and left. But little by little orders began to arrive. A client from Facebook came for a graduation dress. A gentleman needed to fix 5 suits. A teacher ordered 15 uniforms for her dance school. 15 uniforms. It was my biggest order so far. When do you need them? For the end of January. It is for the February festival. You will have them. She gave me an advance of $800. With that money, I bought a second sewing machine, used but functional, $450. And then I made a decision. I needed help. I could not do it all alone, not if I wanted to grow. I posted on Facebook, helper wanted for sewing workshop, basic experience necessary, responsible, dedicated, interested, send messages. I received 12 messages in 2 days. I interviewed 5 women. The last one was named Patricia. She was 43 years old, divorced, with 2 teenage children. I have sewn all my life, from my home, but I have never worked in a formal workshop. Why do you want to work here? Because I need the money, but also because I need to get out of my house. I need to feel that I do something more than just survive. I understood her, completely. The job is Monday to Saturday, from 9 to 6. $350 a week to start. If it works, we can negotiate later. It seems perfect to me. Can you start Monday? Yes. Patricia started on January 7th. She was good, fast, careful with details, and above all, she was reliable. With her, I was able to finish the 15 uniforms on time. They were perfect. Black leotards, chiffon skirts, with the school logo embroidered. The teacher was delighted. She paid me the rest, $800 more, and she recommended me to 3 other dance schools. Things were growing, fast. But then something happened. On January 15th in the afternoon, I was cutting fabric when someone entered the workshop. I looked up. It was Ethan. "Mom," I froze, with the scissors in my hand. "What are you doing here? I came to see you. I wanted to see your workshop. How did you know the address?" "It is on your Facebook." "Of course." Patricia was in the back sewing. Ethan looked around. The machines, the cutting table, the fabrics hanging. The rack with finished pieces. "Wow, this is real. Yes, it is real. How long have you been here? Almost a month. And do you already have customers?" "Yes, quite a few." He stayed silent, watching. "Mom, this is incredible. Really. Thank you. Can I help you with something?" The question took me by surprise. Help me with what I do not know. Money contacts. I know people who might need uniforms or alterations. I do not need help, Ethan. But it could be faster. You could grow more. I am going to grow at my own pace without anyone's help. Why are you like this? Like what? So proud, so closed off. I laughed, without humor. Proud Ethan. 6 months ago, I was left with nothing. Without a house, without a company, without money. And you gave me a maid's uniform, and now you tell me I am proud. I know, and I already apologized for that. No, you did not apologize. You said it had gotten out of control. You said maybe it was a mistake. That is not apologizing. Okay. You are right. I apologize. Really. What happened was wrong. Very wrong. And I am sorry. And Vanessa. Is she sorry too? Silence. Vanessa has her way of seeing things. That is not an answer. No, she is not sorry. She thinks you exaggerated, that you left out of pride. Of course. Because she does not understand what dignity is. Mom, please do not talk like that about her. Why not? Why do I have to keep silent? Why do I have to pretend that what she did to me did not hurt? Because she is my wife, and I am your mother. I know you are my mother. That is why I am here trying to fix this. It cannot be fixed, Ethan. Not like this. Then what do you want me to do? Tell me. What do you need from me? I looked at him, really looked at him, and in that moment I understood. I understood that there was nothing he could do, because the problem was not just what had happened, it was who he had become. Nothing. I need nothing from you. That is not true. Yes, it is true. For months I thought I needed your forgiveness, your regret, that you acknowledged what you did to me. But not anymore. Not anymore. What I do not need that anymore. Because I realized something. I realized that the most important person I needed forgiveness from was myself. I do not understand. I needed to forgive myself for allowing this to happen, for putting myself in a position where someone, even my own son, could treat me like this. And I already did. I forgave myself and I freed myself. The tears began to fall, down my face, down his. Mom, Ethan, I love you. I will always love you. You are my son. But I can no longer carry this pain. I can no longer wait for you to change or for Vanessa to change. I have to move on, with or without you. Do not say that. It is the truth. Patricia came out from the back. She saw the scene. She stayed silent. Ethan wiped his tears. So what do you no longer want me to be part of your life? I did not say that. I said I cannot expect anything from you. If you want to be in my life, perfect. But it is going to be on my terms, not yours, and definitely not Vanessa's. She is my wife, Mom. I am not asking you to choose. I am telling you that I already chose. I chose my peace, my dignity, my life. And what about me? Where do I stand? Where you decide to stand? That is your decision, not mine. He stayed silent, looking at the floor. I am going to be a dad. The words fell like stones. What? Vanessa is pregnant. 8 weeks. The world stopped. A baby. My grandchild. Congratulations. Is that all congratulations? What do you want me to say? I do not know. I thought you would be excited. That of course I am excited, but I am also afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid that baby will grow up without knowing me, that Vanessa will push me away, that you will allow it. That is not going to happen. It already happened, Ethan. You pushed me away once. What guarantees me it is not going to happen again? Why? Because now it is different. It is my child, our child, and I want you to know him, to be part of his life. And Vanessa silence. I am going to talk to her. I am going to tell her she has to accept you, that you are my mother, that you are the grandmother of our baby. I do not want her to accept me out of obligation, Ethan. I want respect, and if she cannot give it to me, then I prefer not to be there. Mom, please do not do this. I am not doing anything. I am just setting boundaries, something I should have done a long time ago. Patricia touched my shoulder gently. Evelyn, I am going out for a moment. To buy thread. Do you need anything? No. Thank you, Patricia. She left, leaving us alone. Ethan sat on a chair with his head in his hands. I do not know what to do. You do not have to do anything right now. Just think. Think about what kind of father you want to be. What kind of family do you want to build? And when you know we talk. And meanwhile, I am going to keep working, building my life. And when your baby is born, let me know. And we see how we proceed. Just like that. It is not easy. None of this is easy, but it is necessary. He got up, walked to the door. Before leaving, he turned around. I love you, Mom. I love you too. He left. The door closed behind him. I was left alone, in the middle of the workshop, and then I cried. I cried like I had not cried in months. I cried for the boy I lost, for the man he became, for the baby who was going to be born, and who maybe I would never know as I should. I cried for everything that could have been, and wasn't. But I also cried with relief, because I had said everything I needed to say, because I had set boundaries, because I had chosen my peace over his comfort. Patricia returned half an hour later. She brought coffee. I brought 2, just in case you needed one. Thank you. We sat together, drinking coffee, in silence. Was that your son? She finally asked. Yes. You look alike. You have the same eyes. Yes, but nothing else. Do you want to talk about it? No. I prefer to work. Okay. And we worked. All afternoon. All night. Cutting, sewing, creating. Because that was what I knew how to do. I did not know how to fix my relationship with my son. I did not know how to make Vanessa respect me. I did not know how I was going to make a life with a grandchild I might not be able to see. But I knew how to sew. I knew how to create. I knew how to build something beautiful from scratch. And for now, that had to be enough. That night in my room, I took out my mother's ring. I looked at it under the light. Mom, I do not know if I did the right thing. I do not know if I should have been softer or harder. I know nothing. The ring shone, silent. But I know you taught me not to crawl, not to beg for love, not to accept crumbs. I put it away again, and I slept. Not well, but I slept. The following days were weird. I expected Ethan to call, to send a message, but he did not, and neither did I. Patricia noticed my distraction. Are you okay? Yes, just thinking. About your son? Yes. Do you want some advice? Sure, let him go. If he comes back, good. If not, it is also fine. But do not hold on, because that is only going to destroy you. Do you speak from experience? Yes. My ex-husband. I loved him so much I forgot to love myself. And when he left me, I did not know who I was. It took me years to recover. And now, I am me. And that is enough. You are right. I always am. We smiled, and we kept working. On January 25th, a large order arrived. A cleaning company needed 50 uniforms. By the end of February, 50 uniforms. It was immense, impossible to do alone. even with Patricia. "What do we do?" Patricia asked. "We accept it. And we hire someone else. Do you have money for that?" "Yes." And so I did. I hired another woman, Rose, 51 years old. Widow, expert in industrial sewing. When do I start? Tomorrow. And with 3 machines running, with 3 women working, the workshop became something real, something solid, something no one could take away from me. On the last day of January, I closed the shop early. I counted the money for the month. I had earned $4,500. $4,500 in a month. After paying the rent of the shop, the salaries of Patricia and Rose, the materials, the electricity, I had $1,500 of net profit left. $1,500. It was not a fortune, but it was more than I had earned in my best month at the dry cleaner, and I was just getting started. I sat on the floor of the workshop, alone, and I smiled, because I had lost my son, at least for now. I had lost the possibility of being the grandmother I wanted to be. I had lost the family I had dreamed of, but I had gained something else. I had gained myself, and that was priceless. I still wonder if I did the right thing, if I should have been more flexible, more understanding. But I also know that I cannot sacrifice my peace to maintain a relationship that destroys me. And you? What would you have done in my place? February arrived with longer days, more light, more hope. The workshop ran like clockwork. Patricia, Rose, and I worked in perfect sync, as if we had worked together all our lives. The 50 uniforms for the cleaning company were ready on February 20th, 5 days earlier than promised. The manager came to pick them up. He checked them one by one. "Excellent work, Mrs. Evelyn. Can I place a recurring order? I need 30 uniforms every 2 months. "Of course." "Perfect. I will send you the contract next week." A recurring contract. That meant stable income, predictable, real. Patricia and Rose were excited. "This is going to grow, Evelyn." "I know. This is just beginning." "Yes, it is just beginning." That week I hired a 4th person. Anna, 23 years old, fresh out of a fashion design school. No experience, but lots of talent. "I cannot pay you much, but you can learn and grow with the business. It is perfect. I am not looking for money right now. I am looking for experience." Then welcome. With 4 machines running, with 4 women working, the workshop felt alive. It felt like a home. One day in mid-February, I was cutting patterns when a young woman entered, maybe 30 years old, pregnant, about 6 months. "Excuse me, do you make maternity clothes here? I have never done it, but I can try. It is just that I cannot find anything I like. Everything is very ugly or very expensive. Sit down. Tell me what you need." Her name was Andrea. She was expecting her first baby, a girl. "I want comfortable dresses, but that look good that do not look like I'm wearing a tent." I laughed. "I understand. Let's design something special just for you." I took measurements, showed her fabrics, we made sketches. "How much would it be?" $150 per dress. "If you order 3, I will give you a discount." $400 for 3. "Perfect. I want them." I worked on those dresses with special care. Soft fabrics cuts that adjusted to the body without squeezing warm feminine colors. When Andrea came for them, she cried, "They are beautiful. I feel beautiful. Thank you. You are welcome. And congratulations on your baby. Thank you. I wish my mom could see her. She died 2 years ago. My heart squeezed. She will be with you always in that baby. I hope so." After she left, I kept thinking about Ethan, about his baby, about me. Was I going to meet my grandchild, or was I going to be a stranger in his life? I had not heard from Ethan in 3 weeks. Not a call, not a message. A part of me wanted to call him, ask how he was, how Vanessa was, how the pregnancy was going. But I did not do it, because if he wanted me to be part of his life, he had to prove it, with actions, not words. On February 25th, my 60th birthday, no one remembered. Lucy did not call. Ethan did not call, no one. But Patricia did remember. "Today is your birthday, right? How did you know? You told me a month ago unintentionally, and I wrote it down." "Yes, today I turned 60. "Well, we have to celebrate." "No, I prefer to work. None of that. At 6 in the afternoon, when I closed the workshop, Patricia, Rose, and Anna surprised me. They had bought a small cake, candles, sodas. Happy birthday, Evelyn. I sang with them, blew out the candles, and cried because these women who had barely known me for weeks had remembered. And my son, my own son, did not. That night in my room, I received a message. It was from Ethan. Mom, can we talk? I took 10 minutes to answer. Yes, about what? Can I go see you tomorrow at the workshop? Okay, at 5. The next day passed slowly. Patricia noticed my nervousness. Are you okay? My son is coming to see me, and is that good or bad? I do not know yet. At 5 o'clock sharp, Ethan arrived. He brought flowers, a small bouquet of roses. Happy birthday, Mom. Sorry for not calling you yesterday. I took the flowers. How did you know it was yesterday? I have always known. But you did not call. I know, and I am sorry. It is just, I was thinking a lot about everything you told me. And you are right. Right about what? About everything. That I have not defended you. That I have let Vanessa treat you badly. That I have been a coward. I sat down. He sat in front of me. And what are you going to do about it? I talked to Vanessa. I told her things have to change. That you are my mother. That you are going to be the grandmother of our baby. And that she has to respect you. And what did she say? She got angry, a lot. She said I always defend you. That I am never on her side. And what did you tell her? I told her it is not about sides. It is about doing the right thing. And that the right thing is for my mother to be part of our life, without conditions, without humiliations. And did she accept silence? No, she did not accept. She said if I insist on that, she is going to go with her mom to Florida, and she is going to take the baby. My heart sank. Ethan, but I do not care, Mom. I am tired already. Tired of choosing between you two. Tired of feeling like I always do everything wrong. I told her if she wants to go, let her go. But the baby is mine too, and I am not going to let her take him away from you. I could not believe what I was hearing. Did you really tell her that? Yes, and I mean it. Ethan, a baby needs both parents. You cannot separate from Vanessa because of me. I am not separating because of you. I am separating because I no longer recognize the person I am when I am with her. I have become someone I do not like, someone weak, someone who allows his wife to treat his mother badly. The tears began to fall, down my face, down his. I do not want your marriage to be destroyed because of me. It is not going to be destroyed because of you. It was already destroyed, just that I did not want to see it. Are you sure about this? Yes, very sure. And I want you to know something else. What? That I admire you. That I am proud of you. Really. Of how you got up. Of how you built all this. You are the strongest person I know. I am not strong. I just survived. You are strong. I could not have done what you did. I would have given up. I hugged him. A long hug. Tight. I love you, my boy. I have always loved you. I love you too, Mom. And I'm sorry. I am sorry for everything. We stayed like that. Hugging, crying. Patricia, Rose, and Anna watched us from the back. In silence. When we separated, I asked him. And now, what is going to happen I do not know. Vanessa says she needs time, that she is going to think. Meanwhile, she went with her mom. How long ago? 3 days ago. And how are you? Confused. Sad, but also relieved, as if I could finally breathe. Have you talked to her? Yes, every day. She tells me she is fine, that the baby is fine, but that she needs space. Give her that space, and meanwhile think. Think about what kind of marriage you want. What kind of father do you want to be? I will do it. Do you want to stay for dinner? I can make something quick. No thanks. I need to be alone for a while. Process all this. Okay, but if you need me here I am, I know. And thanks. He left, with his hands in his pockets, shoulders slumped. My son, my boy, lost, confused. but searching to be better, and that was enough for now. That night, Patricia stayed with me a while after closing. "Are you okay?" "Yes, I think so. Your son loves you. It shows." "I know. But sometimes love is not enough." "You are right. But it is a start." 2 weeks passed. Ethan came to the workshop almost every day. After work, he sat down, we talked. Sometimes about important things, sometimes about nothing. He told me that Vanessa was still in Florida, that they talked, but things were difficult. "She says she is not coming back if you continue to be part of my life." "Then let her go. Do you really believe that I believe no one should ask you to choose between your wife and your mother? If she asks you, that she does not love you as she should. But what about the baby? The baby is going to have both parents together or separated. But he is going to have love, and that is what matters." In mid-March, I received a call. It was from an unknown number. "Hello, Evelyn Bautista." "Yes. Calling from the Chamber of Commerce. We want to inform you that you have been nominated for the Businesswoman of the Year Revelation Award." I was speechless. "Excuse me?" "Yes. One of your clients nominated you, Sophia Mendoza. Do you remember her?" "Yes." "Of course. Well, she wrote a very emotional letter about your story, about how you lost your company and rebuilt it from scratch. The committee was very impressed. The ceremony is April 30th at the Grand Plaza Hotel. Can you attend?" Yes, I can." "Perfect. We send you the formal invitation by mail. Congratulations." I hung up. Patricia, Rose, and Anna looked at me. "What happened?" "They nominated me for an award, Businesswoman of the Year Revelation. They screamed, jumped, hugged me. Evelyn, it is incredible. I do not know if I'm going to win. It does not matter. You already won with everything you have achieved." That night I told Ethan, "Mom, that is incredible. I am so proud of you. Thank you. Can I go with you to the ceremony?" "Do you want to?" "Of course. You are my mom, and I want to be there." "Then come." April 30th arrived fast. I bought a dress, nothing expensive but elegant, navy blue. I had my hair done in a salon. I put on makeup. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked different, not only older but more dignified, as if everything that had happened had given me a strength I did not have before. Ethan picked me up. He wore a suit. He looked handsome like his father. "You look beautiful, Mom." "Thank you. You look good too." We went to the hotel, a huge place full of elegant people, businessmen, politicians, press. I felt out of place, but Ethan took me by the arm. "You deserve to be here more than anyone." The ceremony began. They gave several awards. Businessman of the Year, Sustainable Company, Technology Innovation, and then and now, the Businesswoman of the Year Revelation Award. This award recognizes a woman who, against all odds, built or rebuilt a business from scratch. This year, we have 3 exceptional finalists. They said 3 names. Mine was the last. Evelyn Bautista, founder of Evelyn's Sewing, who, after losing her textile company of 32 years, rebuilt her life from a 40-square-foot room to opening her own workshop, currently employing 4 women and growing month by month. Applause. My heart beat so fast I thought it was going to explode. And the winner is Evelyn Bautista. I could not believe it. Ethan screamed. He hugged me. "You won, Mom, you won." I stood up trembling. I walked to the stage. I went up. I received the award, a glass plaque with my name engraved. The presenter gave me the microphone. "Mrs. Bautista," a few words. I looked at the audience. So many people looking at me. And then I looked at Ethan, in the front row, crying. I took a deep breath. 7 months ago, I had nothing. No house, no company, no money. I only had my hands and the will not to give up. This award is not only mine, it is for all the women who have lost everything and have had to start from scratch, for all those who have been humiliated and have found the strength to get up, for all those who continue sewing, cleaning, working, surviving, because we are stronger than we think, and it is never too late to start over. Thank you. Applause. Long, strong. I went down from the stage. Ethan hugged me. "I love you, Mom. And sorry for everything. There is nothing to forgive anymore." We left the hotel. The night was cool, starry. "Do you want to go to dinner?" Ethan asked. Yes, I would love to. We went to a small restaurant. Quiet. We ate. We talked. We laughed. Like before. Like when he was a child. When everything was simple. Mom, I have to tell you something. What Vanessa and I are getting a divorce. My heart stopped. Are you sure? Yes. We already talked about it. Calmly, without shouting. And we both agree. It does not work, and bringing a baby into a broken marriage is not fair. And the baby, we are going to share custody. She is going to live in Florida. Me here. But we are going to be good parents, both. And you. You are going to be part of her life, I promise you. And does Vanessa agree? She has no other choice. It is my child, too, and I am going to fight for her right to know her grandmother. I hugged him. You are going to be a great father. I am going to try. That night in my room, I put the award on my small table. I looked at it, shining under the light bulb. And I understood something. I understood that this was not the end. It was just the beginning, that I had lost so much, but I had also gained so much more. I had gained myself, and that was worth more than any award. Sometimes life takes everything away from you, just to teach you that you are enough, that you need nothing more than your own strength. Have you also had that moment where everything changes? Tell me. The following months were of constant growth. The award opened doors I never imagined. I appeared in the local newspaper, in business magazines. I was invited to give a talk at a university about entrepreneurship. Me, Evelyn Bautista, giving a talk. In front of 100 students who looked at me as if I were someone important. I told them my story, without filters, without makeup. I told them about the bankruptcy, about the maid's uniform, about the 40-square-foot room. And I also told them about getting up, about not giving up, about finding strength where you think there is none. At the end, a girl approached me, crying. Thank you, Mrs. Evelyn. My mom just lost her job. She has been crying for weeks, feeling useless. I'm going to tell her your story so she knows she is not alone. Tell her she is not alone, never, and that she can start over, as many times as necessary. The business kept growing. In May, I hired 2 more people. In June, 3 others. We were already 9 people working in the workshop, 9 women, all with stories, all surviving, all building something together. Patricia became my right hand, Rose in charge of production, Anna the head designer, and I became something I never thought I would be again. A leader, but not like before, not with the pressure of having everything under control, of being perfect, but with the humility of someone who has fallen and has gotten up and knows that one can always fall again. In June, Ethan called me. Mom, she is born. It is a girl. My heart skipped a beat. How is she perfect? 7 pounds, black hair, huge eyes, and Vanessa good, tired, but good. What is her name? Elena. Elena Evelyn. My voice broke. Did they name her after me? Yes, it was my idea. And Vanessa accepted. Thank you. Thank you, my love. Can you come meet her tomorrow? At the hospital. Is Vanessa okay with it? Yes, we talked. And she wants to start over. With you. With everything, really, yes. She says that the pregnancy gave her time to think, to understand many things, and that she wants Elena to have her grandmother in her life. Okay. Tomorrow I go. The next day, I arrived at the hospital with a small gift, a little white dress I had sewn myself, with hand embroidery. I knocked on the room door. Ethan opened. Come in, Mom. I entered, and there was Vanessa, in the bed, with her hair tied back. No makeup. She looked different, more human, more vulnerable. And in her arms, my granddaughter, Elena. Hello, Evelyn, Vanessa said. Hello? Do you want to hold her? I approached, trembling. Vanessa handed her to me carefully. The baby was perfect, small, warm, with that wrinkled little face all newborns have, and when she opened her eyes, I saw Ethan. I saw my husband. I saw my mother. I saw my family. The tears fell uncontrollably. Hello, Elena, I am your grandma. The baby looked at me, with those huge eyes, as if she recognized me. Evelyn, I need to tell you something. I looked up. Vanessa was looking at me. Serious. I owe you an apology. A big one. Vanessa, no. Let me speak. What I did to you. The uniform, everything. It was very wrong. Very wrong. And I have no excuse. I was angry with my life, with my decisions, and I took it out on you. And I am sorry, really. Why were you angry? Because I also lost things. I lost my dad when I was 15, and my mom married 3 more times, and I never felt important to her. I was always a burden. And when you arrived at my house, I saw you as a threat, as someone who was going to take Ethan away from me. I never wanted to take him away. I know, now I know. But at that moment, I did not see it that way. I only saw a woman who had had everything, who had been successful, and I had achieved nothing, and I envied you, and I made you pay for my own insecurity. Thank you for telling me that. And there is something else. I saw your award. I saw your interview in the newspaper, and I realized something, that you are the woman I want to be, strong, independent, resilient, and instead of admiring you, I attacked you, and I am sorry, a lot. I sat in the chair next to her bed, still holding Elena. Vanessa, we all make mistakes. We all hurt people we shouldn't have hurt. The important thing is to recognize it and do things differently from now on. Do you think we can start over, you and me? We can try. Thank you. Ethan was in the corner, crying silently. Thanks, Mom. For giving her a chance. Family is that. Chances. Over and over again. I spent 2 hours in that hospital, holding Elena, talking with Vanessa, laughing with Ethan. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. Not because everything was perfect, but because finally, there was hope. The following weeks, I visited Elena almost every day. Vanessa and Ethan had decided to try again, but differently, with therapy, with boundaries, with respect. I do not know if it is going to work, Ethan told me one afternoon, but we are going to try. For Elena, that is all that can be done. Try. One afternoon in July, while working at the workshop, I received a call. It was from a known number, but one I had not seen in months. Lucy, my sister. Evelyn. Lucy. What happened? I need to talk to you. Can I come see you? Yes. Sure. An hour later, Lucy arrived at the workshop. She looked bad. Thinner. Deep dark circles. Wrinkled clothes. Are you okay? No, I am not okay. We sat down. I gave her coffee. Robert left me. What he left 2 weeks ago. With another woman. A co-worker. He left me alone. With the debts. With the kids. With everything. Lucy, I am so sorry. And the worst is that now I understand what you went through. Now I understand what it feels like to be left with nothing. With no one, feeling the world coming down on you. Do you need money? No. Well, yes. But I did not come for that. I came to ask for your forgiveness. Forgiveness for what? For not supporting you when you needed it. For leaving you alone. For prioritizing Robert over you. You are my sister. And I failed you. It is over, Lucy. No, it is not over. Because now I am where you were. And I do not know what to do. And I thought maybe you could help me. Help you how I do not know. With advice. With whatever. I looked at her, my sister, who had always had the most stable life, the most solid marriage, the most normal family. And now she was here, broken. As I had been. Lucy, you're going to be fine. Not today, nor tomorrow, but you are going to be fine. Because you are strong, more than you think. I do not feel strong. I did not feel strong either, but I was. And you are too. You just need time and support. Can I work with you? Here, in the workshop. I know how to sew. A little. I can learn. Do you really want to? Yes. I need to get out of my house. I need to do something. Feel useful. Okay. You can start Monday. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. I hugged her, and I felt her body tremble. We are going to be fine, both of us. And in that moment, in that hug, I closed a circle, the circle of the sister who had not been there when I needed her, but who now needed me. And I could give her what she did not give me: support, compassion, an extended hand, not for revenge, not to make her feel bad, but because that is how karma works, not as punishment, but as teaching. In August, the workshop continued to grow. We had fulfilled contracts with 6 different companies. We had a 3-month waiting list for custom dresses. Patricia suggested something. "Evelyn, we need a bigger space." "I know, but this shop is already too small for us. We are 10 people, and we barely fit. We need something bigger, with better ventilation, more light." "You are right." That week I started looking, and I found a perfect place, twice as big as the current one, with 2 bathrooms, with a huge backspace for storage, with parking. The rent was $1,800 a month. It was a lot, but I could pay it. I signed the contract. We moved in September. On moving day, the whole team helped. Lucy, Patricia, Rose, Anna, everyone. We carried machines, tables, fabrics, racks, and when everything was installed in the new space, we stood watching. "Look at this," I said. "Look what we built." "What you built," Patricia said. "No, what we built together, all of us." That night, after everyone left, I stayed alone in the new workshop. I walked through the space, touching the machines, the tables, the clean walls, and I thought about the whole journey, from that 40-square-foot room to here. I took out my phone. I dialed Ethan's number. "Mom." "Hello, my love. Can you come? I want you to see the new workshop. I am on my way." Half an hour later, Ethan arrived, with Elena in his arms. "Wow, Mom, this is incredible." "Right. It is huge. How many people work here now?" 10, including your Aunt Lucy. Lucy works here. Yes, for 2 months now. And how is that going?" "Good. She is learning, and she is healing, as I healed." Ethan handed me Elena. "I want my daughter to grow up knowing her grandmother's story. I want her to know her grandmother lost everything, and recovered it, and built something beautiful. And I want her to know she can do the same as many times as necessary." "Exactly." I held Elena. I walked her around the workshop. I showed her the machines, the fabrics. "Look, Elena, all this is because your grandma did not give up, and you are not going to give up either. Never. Because warrior blood runs in your veins." The baby looked at me with those huge eyes and smiled, a tiny smile, but real. "She loves you," Ethan said, "and I love her with all my heart." That night in my new apartment, because yes, I had already rented a real apartment with my own kitchen and bathroom, I sat on the sofa. I took out my mother's ring. "Mom, I did it. Not as I planned, not as I dreamed, but I did it. I have my business. I have my dignity. I have my granddaughter. And I have peace." The ring shone, and I could swear I heard her voice. "I always knew you would make it, daughter." One day in October, I received an unexpected message. It was from Vanessa. "Evelyn, can you come for coffee? I need to talk to you." I hesitated, but I replied, "Yes. When tomorrow? At 11, at the Tuscan Cafe." The next day, I arrived on time. Vanessa was already there. She looked nervous. "Thank you for coming. What is wrong? Is Elena okay?" "Yes, she is perfect. It is about something else." "What?" "My mom is sick. Cancer, advanced stage. Doctors say she has maybe 6 months left. I am so sorry. And I do not know what to do. Because my relationship with her was always complicated, as it was with you at the beginning. And now that she is dying, I want to fix things. But I do not know how. Are you asking me for advice?" "Yes, because you forgave unforgivable things, and I need to know how you did it. It was not easy, and it was not fast. But I understood something. I understood that forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for you, so you can move forward without carrying that weight." "And how do I start?" "Talk to her. Tell her what you feel, what hurt you, but also tell her you love her, that you forgive her, even if she does not ask you to. because when she goes, you will not have another chance." Vanessa cried. "I am afraid. We are all afraid. But regret hurts more than fear. Thank you, Evelyn, for everything, for being the example I needed. I am not an example. I am just a woman who learned to get up. That is more than many achieve." We said goodbye with a hug, long, sincere, and I understood something. I understood that karma is not revenge. It is not seeing who hurt you fall. It is seeing who hurt you grow. It is seeing that person learn, change, evolve, because when they grow, we all grow. In November, 6 months after receiving the award, I was called by a TV network. "Mrs. Bautista, we want to do a report on your story, a 30-minute special. Are you interested? I do not know. For what? To inspire other women, to show that one can start over." "Okay, I accept." They filmed for a week, in the workshop, in my house, with my team, with Elena, with Ethan. The report aired in December, prime time. I watched it alone, in my living room, with a cup of coffee, and I did not recognize myself. The woman on the screen was strong, confident, successful, but also vulnerable, human, real. At the end of the report, they put my final words. "To all women who are going through something difficult, who feel they can no longer go on, I want to tell you something. Yes, you can. You always can, because we are stronger than we think, and life always gives second chances to those who earn them." After it ended, I received hundreds of messages from women who had lost jobs, marriages, homes, children, from women who thanked me for sharing my story, from women who said I had given them hope. And in that moment, I understood the purpose of everything, the purpose of the pain, of the fall, of the reconstruction. It was not just for me, it was for everyone, to show that it is possible, that it is always possible. One afternoon, while I was closing the workshop, someone arrived, an older woman, about 70 years old, with a cane. "Mrs. Evelyn." "Yes, I saw your report, and I wanted to meet you." "Nice to meet you. How can I help you?" "I do not need help. I just wanted to thank you." "Thank you for what?" "For reminding me that I am not finished. I just lost my husband. After 50 years of marriage, and I thought my life had ended. But you reminded me that I can start over, at 70 years old, and that is priceless." My eyes filled with tears. "It is never too late. Never. I know. Now I know. Thank you." She left, with her cane, but with her shoulders straighter, and I stayed there, at the door of the workshop, watching the street, watching my life. And I smiled, because karma is not punishment. It is justice. Silent, perfect, inevitable. I had lost everything, and they had taken it from me with humiliation. But life had returned everything to me, with dignity, with respect, with love. And to those who hurt me, life taught them, not with revenge, but with lessons, lessons that only time can teach, and that was enough. Someone once called me crazy, proud, dramatic, and for a long time those words hurt me, but now I understand that life always collects its debts, not with revenge, but with truth. Vanessa learned, Ethan grew, and I found myself. Have you seen how life balances things? How karma is not punishment, but teaching? Tell me, today as I write this, 2 years have passed since that afternoon of the uniform. 2 years. It seems like an eternity, and it also seems like yesterday. My workshop now has 20 employees. We just signed a contract with a hotel chain for uniforms for all their staff. Patricia is now my partner. Rose has her own design line within the workshop. Anna won a Young Design Award, and Lucy is in charge of training. My sister, who arrived broken, now teaches other women to sew, to create, to get up. Ethan and Vanessa are still together. It is not perfect, but it is real, with therapy, with boundaries, with respect. And Elena is 2 years old. She already walks. She already talks. She calls me Grandma with that little voice that melts my heart. Every Sunday I see her. We cook together, we play. I tell her stories. And someday, when she is older, I am going to tell her my story, the true one, without filters, so she knows her grandmother was not always strong. that there was a time where she lost everything, where she hit rock bottom, where she thought she could not get up, but she did. Because we women are like that. We are strong even when we do not know it, even when the world tells us we can no longer go on. The other day, putting things away in my apartment, I found that box, the box with the maid's uniform. I had kept it. I do not know why, maybe as a reminder. I opened it, took out the uniform, black, starched with the white apron, and I no longer felt pain, I felt gratitude. Because that uniform, that terrible moment, was the beginning of everything. It was the moment where I had to choose between my dignity or comfort, between my peace or the approval of others, between being a victim or being a survivor. And I chose to get up. I did not donate it. I kept it again, but this time in a special place in a box with other important things. Photos, letters, my mother's ring, my first award, because everything is part of my story, the good and the bad, the beautiful and the painful. A month ago, I was invited to give a conference at a business women's event. There were 500 women in that auditorium. I told them my story complete without shame. I told them about the uniform, about the tears, about the small room, about the sleepless nights. But I also told them about the reconstruction, about the first client, about the first dollar earned with dignity, about the award. At the end, a woman approached. "Mrs. Evelyn, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "How did you do it? How did you forgive your son? How did you forgive your daughter-in-law?" I am angry with my family, and I do not know if I can ever forgive. Forgiveness is not for them, it is for you, so you can sleep in peace, so you can move forward without carrying that weight. But careful forgiving does not mean forgetting, nor allowing them to hurt you again. And how do you know when you are ready to forgive? When anger no longer keeps you awake, when you can remember without it hurting in your chest, when you understand that we are all learning, even those who hurt us. She cried, she hugged me, thank you, and I thanked her because every time I tell my story, I heal a little more. Today, as I close the workshop, I look at my team, 20 women, all with stories, all with scars, all getting up, and I understand that this workshop is not just a business, it is a refuge, it is a family, it is proof that it is possible. I keep my mother's ring in my purse, I always bring it with me, and while I walk to my car, I think of her. Mom, I did it. It was not how I dreamed it, but it was better, because now I know who I am. And that is priceless. Sometimes they ask me if I regret anything, and I always answer the same. No, I do not regret the pain because it taught me. I do not regret the fall because it strengthened me. I do not regret losing everything because I found myself. And that is the greatest lesson, that you can lose everything, your house, your company, your family, your security. But if you do not lose yourself, if you do not lose your dignity, then you have lost nothing, because everything else can be rebuilt as many times as necessary. Tonight, I'm going to have dinner with Ethan, Vanessa, and Elena. I am going to hold my granddaughter. I am going to laugh with my son. I am going to talk with my daughter-in-law. And it is going to be normal, simple, beautiful, because there is no longer resentment. There are no debts. There is no pain. There is only family, imperfect but real. And as I drive toward their house with the sun setting over the city, I smile, because I understood something fundamental. Life is not about not falling. It is about getting up over and over again with dignity, with strength, with self-love. And when Elena is older, when she asks me how I did it, I am going to tell her my love. Your grandma was not special. She did not have superpowers. She only had two things: her hands and her will not to give up. And with that, she built all this. And I'm going to give her my mother's ring, and I'm going to tell her this ring passed from your great-grandmother to me, and now it passes from me to your mom, so that someday it will be yours. And when you use it, remember, the women of this family do not give up, never, because warrior blood runs in our veins. I arrive at Ethan's house. I ring the doorbell. He opens with Elena in his arms. "Grandma," the girl screams. I hold her. I hug her. I cover her with kisses. And in that moment, in that hug, I understand that everything was worth it. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, because it brought me here, and here. Here is fine, better than fine. It is perfect. If my story helps a single woman open her eyes to get up, not to accept crumbs, to value herself, to understand that always, always there is a way to start over. Then it will have been worth it. Every blow, every tear, every moment of darkness, because the light always comes. Always. You just have to stay standing long enough to see it. Thank you for listening until the end. If this story touched your heart, share it. Because maybe there is someone who needs to hear that she is not alone, that she can get up, that she can start over. Subscribe and activate the bell to hear more stories of women who transformed their pain into wisdom every day. A woman haim bottom. Life lesson. God bless you, and remember, it is never too late to start over. Never.